All right. So the next episode, the name of it is, did you write it down?
It is called the Identity Crisis. And I
Thank you,
want to say
sir.
one thing before the episode, before we talk about it in depth.
Oh, please.
For it.
I was watching it. I had both the two new episodes at once playing. I blinked and that episode was done. It went by so quick to me. It just went very smooth. At no point was I like looking at the time or thinking about the episode that way.
Yeah, no, it was a good episode. They went back to the bad people's place where all the testing is going on. And for me, that's always been kind of a lull in the show because everyone's talks, everyone's serious. It's kind of, and it wasn't like it was good. So like the very first right away, we see that there's a little cute half, I don't know what that was, owl teddy bear
The Badger
species.
Grogu, I wrote.
Badger Grogu. And mom is giving it its little stuffed animal. Suddenly a pot flies and people said, "What was that? Who threw that?" And then they all started whispering that it was the baby. I didn't realize how small the baby was until later. I was like, "Oh, it's like a baby. So there's no way they could have like picked up the plot." I was like, "How do they know that it was like?" But obviously it was. The guy that ratted him out. I love him. I think they're a great design. He saw it and dropped a dime and said, "Hey, I got a tip for some. It's a bounty hunter situations here. Special tip. Maybe you want to come check it out."
Happy.
So then we go to the place where they're testing. And she says, "Hey, look, the testing is bad. It ain't going well because you threw out, what's her name? If you trust me, make me the head of the science." And he was kind of like, he was kind of impressed that she even asked for it. So he said, "Cool, but you're going to need to know what's in the vault." And I was like, "All right. Let's see the rows and rows of decaying flesh and floating pools." That's what I thought we were going to see.
Yeah, me too.
I was stunned when they opened it up, and I'm like, "Wait a minute!" I almost rewound it. Did I miss something? What happened here? And no, it was 3 little children playing some kind of games, like they were moving blocks around on some kind of thing. And we found out that
they were waiting for parent pickup at the kindergarten.
And they were. We found out later they were force sensitive, apparently pretty heavily force sensitive children running experiments on. And we found out that the reason why, which I'm kind of digging this, I'm going to be honest with you because I'm hoping that means they're going to play this right and don't make her into superpowered. That the reason why Omega is important is because her blood is compatible with their blood, so they might be able to find a way to be able to clone force sensitive people, and that's the whole point.
I had to rewind it. He said something about it basically creating. It was like an emergent property that M count.
Yeah,
like it. I guess it disappears or whatever. It when they try and clone it.
Yeah,
but
it
she
doesn't work.
It. I guess I don't know.
She retained.
Did you notice also that he said there are a few adults left with high M counts?
He's like, yeah. Strangely enough, there's not very many of them adults left. They don't make it around too long. They get cut into pieces.
Because at this point there would be Inquisitors, right? A lot of Inquisitors going around. You think they would have just kind of took a couple of the shitty ones, the ones who weren't doing too good, and reassigned them to this to this?
I don't even think you need to do that. I just think that's part of your job. Is every morning you get up, you put your arm out, they take a blood sample, and you go on about your day. Like I don't even think it needs to be like kidnapping them because that's just part of their thing.
Yeah.
So she sees it. We can tell pretty quick that she's not too thrilled with the fact that there's kids here. And there's a couple of things. She goes and talks to people. She's making little comments. Here's my main thing. This is the most secure base in all of the worlds. Okay. Emperor himself wants this base locked down. Yet apparently they don't have any hidden cameras. They don't have any security cameras. They don't have any hidden microphones, and nobody's monitoring the day-to-day activities of their employees. Because she can just go have full-on conversations that are very suspicious with people, and nobody's in a monitor room going, "Oh, did you hear what she just said? What a dumbass." Like how, well, seriously though, like how does a clandestine like engineering thing that's secret not have cameras? I know it's part of a plot. They can't, but like there's no cameras, no listening devices.
Maybe they don't want evidence of what's happening in there in that way.
I don't know, man. That seems weird.
One thing I want to bring up is the fact that, so that's what's in the vault, right? I wonder what it was like when Palpatine walked in there with him. Because he walked in there and the little kids are just like, well, who's this? Grandpa's here. Grandpa.
Oh, what if they said, "Oh, hi, it's Emperor Palpatine. Hi, can you give me a ride home?" Like my dad voted for you.
To bring up the fun fact is like later on in the episode, Emery goes to receive one of the new donations, basically, the kids, right?
It's the baby we talked about at the beginning. It gets captured, obviously.
Specimen.
Specimen, that's the word he was using. Who has it? Cad Bane has the specimen, drops it off.
And this time they make sure his robot friend is with him, which I was loving every second of that.
It's perfect.
Toto.
He's the best. Toto. But what's funny is Emery keeps asking all these weird questions, like you see on the nose.
Yeah.
And Cad Bane's like, you should stop asking those questions because you know what's gonna happen if you keep doing it.
I actually wrote it down. It said Cad Bane said, asking questions like this give away more than you think it does. The other question I have is what's the point of the daily, like I'm sure they're doing like 1,000 other tests, but you already know they have M counts. You already know who you need. So what's the point of like every on the hour taking more blood from them? Like I don't understand the constant like robot. Okay, Groundhog Day, wake up, time for the blood removal. Like you already have probably gallons of these kids' bloods. Why you gotta do it every day? Like that seems weird to me.
Too quick.
There was a special guest appearance. Do you remember who the special guest appearance was? Asking too many questions?
Governor.
There it is.
Governor Tarkin.
Governor Tarkin.
Not Moff, Governor.
And even after he said, listen, because he knew, Governor Tarkin knows that that's Emperor's special project. He knew damn good and well who that is. He was still trying to, but all the smugness, all the greatness of that character. Now, why don't you go on and tell me what you're doing? Because if you mess it up, you know, it's gonna look bad for you. Why don't you go on and tell me? And the doctor handled it really well, but I was like, that's such a good like little go in between right there, because it was like
little moments like that is what I want to see more of.
Yes, that little, and like I said, it's when you see, honestly, sorry, like if you're a great Omega fan, I apologize for this, but when you remove her as like the everything, like 90% of every show is around her. She does all the acting, she does everything. When you remove her off to the side and you let the writers write, and she just happens to be a plot point in the thing, these shows are amazing. This whole season has been freaking amazing. All right, so what did you guys think about this episode? Was it all you were hoping it would be?
I loved it. I thought it was great. It started off creepy. I like creepy. Yeah, Cad Bane. Great entrance.
Always.
Better than Ventress. Like I thought it was a much better episode than the Ventress episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was great to see Tarkin, Toto the droid.
Toto the droid needs his own TV show. Like he's amazing all by himself.
Asking, Emery, like, what are you gonna do? Well, she asked it really slowly.
She did. Now that you know, what are you going to do? I think that's why the doctor talks like that.
That's probably why, yeah.
She's gonna get too attached. But
for sure.
Oh yeah.
I did write, I don't know if I've heard this before, but it came to mind. I wondered if Hemlock is Snoke. I know we don't want to go there, but I don't know why it crossed my mind. But
doesn't he always make some hot takes about Snoke? I feel like
he does. He loves.
I feel like the Chung loves making hot takes about Snoke. He's always throwing some hot takes out there.
That's so funny.
He just tries. He does all these experiments, and then he's like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna do it on myself."
We know they're gonna land with a very, and I'm only saying this because this is the whole cloning the Emperor is ridiculous and silly. But is there any way that Omega, I mean, I guess they could do something silly like capture her, get enough of her blood that they can synthesize it, and then she escapes and disappears forever? There's no way this can end well, right? And be able to have, because they already have a sample of her blood, so they need all of her, right? Like, is there any way that this is going to end well for her? Like, I can't imagine being where it is in the future, this is going to end well for her.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially if they need blood every day.
My only thinking is maybe if something happens where Hemlock gets killed and they get rid of the evidence, like her sample or whatever, and then they're not sure who the person was that had the M count. and they can't locate them again.
Yeah, but they have to have a way that they got it to work, though. And she seems to be the only way to get it to work. A clone.
So maybe they get Grogu instead. You know, who knows?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Grogu. I forgot about the Grogu problem. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, they have to wrap it up. They can't leave any loose ends at the end of the season. It's the final season of this.
Well, if they need Grogu, obviously they didn't get what they needed from Omega.
I mean, okay. Well, we'll find out
Not
the next.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.